If I think about everything that has transpired really since 2020, people are feeling the effects of that experience. And as a result, they're probably feeling unclear. They're feeling a little anxious, to back to your point. How the headlines aren't making it any better. And I guess that's why I feel so strongly about the frequency error, because if you go back in history, if you understand the patterns, then it can also help to provide clarity of what is coming down the pipe. Am I mistaken with this?
Indeed. So many people view this current moment as chaos.
Okay.
And the current sentiment in the media is that AI is going to just take everyone's job, and you're not going to have anything to do and live on universal basic income. Mm-hmm. And the reality is that's not what's going to occur. That's based on all the historical patterns. That is not what's going to happen. And when you understand the historical patterns, it turns from chaos to clarity, and it makes it very simple way to begin to navigate this with confidence.
Well, and I think that right there is why I can look around and have a lot of hope, because as you have done in the frequency error, I have an understanding of what has transpired before. That gives me peace. That gives me peace of mind. That allows me to provide peace to others around me. Now, people who are watching or listening to this might not have that same perspective, which is why I would like to go down history lane with you a little bit to get some more perspective, because I look at perspective as just context and framing. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that we have been here before in different societies and economies. Take us back in time.
Awesome. Okay. So for context, at the moment, it's at the peak. 65% of the global economy is known as a knowledge worker. They make money using their brain, a computer, the information they store in their head, and how they process it. Now, if we go back in history, just a couple of centuries ago, in the year 1800, 90% of the people that participated in the economy worked on a farm.
Okay.
And it's easy to underestimate the skills and the talents that those people had at that time. They could read the weather patterns. They could understand the soil and whether it was ready to be planted or not. These are skills and intelligence that require decades of working on land and understanding. They could read the patterns of an animal to know whether it was going to be sick or not. These are very tangible, valuable skills at that time. And the economy paid a premium for those skills. Now, starting in 1890, they started implementing technology that was starting to automate these types of jobs. The mechanical reaper, the tractor, these mechanical things that could do, what 10 people could do all the time, automated more reliably, and things like that. And over the next 100 years, the amount of people that participated and worked on a farm went from 90% to 4%.
Wow.
Through automation. And so, yes, the people that worked on the amount of jobs that existed that worked on a farm went down, but it's not that everybody became unemployed. What happened is that the value moved, and what happened is that the value that humans had elevated to the next level from pure physical labor on a farm to what they called skilled labor. And the people that succeeded in that economic transition moved from working on farms to working in factories and managing the mass production of the machines. Now, during that transition, and every economic transition, there are people that benefit more and there are people that benefit less. So the people that worked on the farms and they didn't move, what they noticed is that the economies were contracting, that their income was going down, that there were less job opportunities, that it was more competitive, that the societies that organized around a farm began to almost had catastrophic declines. And people moved into different areas where there were factories. And then, so that was one major economic transition. The people that succeeded elevated to the next level of capacity, moving from physical labor to skilled labor, which is a shift in human economic value at its core.
I want to hit a pause button on this real fast. What happened to those who didn't make that transition, or perhaps they were lagging in that transition from agricultural to industrial?
So what happens is when the value that humans have becomes abundant, the premium on it declines.
Okay.
And it happens slowly and then rapidly.
Yes.
And so what those people notice, it's when you're inside of a transition, it's hard to see what's going on. It feels like a personal problem. It feels like just one business is just struggling or one community is struggling. But when you zoom out, and especially with the context looking back historically, you can see that it was happening across the whole thing, and there was something bigger going on.